tell him that the owner was so thankful that he gave him a letter. Wherever nowadays went, any Hudson Bay company, he used to get any kind of goods he wanted. Free. They were his. Give him the gift. He wrote a letter and told him out, and nowadays he had that gift in his pocket. That letter. He kept that letter. He showed his brother, Chief Ahtahkakoop, Chief Mr. It was about a snake and he took him out. So in a way, Davies began to be recognized as a chief as well. People began to follow him because Hudson Bay Company was giving him supplies. Amy Tatawel. And that was something great. And Davies, Chief Ahtahkakoop, Chief Mr. They used to get goods from Hudson Bay Company. They to all their people. They used to share all these goods to their people. Whereas you had another chief over here, Sweetgrass. We got Skooksin. He was a chief. He had a big following because there was another chief called Black Raven, Ahtahkakoop. He had been killed by the Blackfeet. So his following joined Sweetgrass's following, which is why he had a big following. But when he'd go to these ports, he'd get a wagon load of supplies because he was a chief for a large following. But then he'd turn around and he'd sell. He'd sell those items for his band members. That's not being a chief. That wasn't being a chief. But the history of Sweetgrass was he wasn't even a Cree. He struck him on the back, went on a raid, horse raid to the Saskatchewan landing. Agami. Nipiga is the name of Saskatchewan landing. On this side, their water used to shoot up out of the ground about 20, 30 feet to the air. On the other side, there was robots, the eastern wing of the Blackfoot Confederacy. They got away kids that Crees wouldn't get into that country. Because on the north side, there was a group of Crees called Ahtahkakoop that were roaming on the north side of the North Saskatchewan River. Where the hell does this guy get all this information? Case the hit with him. Old Alan Ahenakew, Andrew Ahenakew, Angus Knife, Norman Fraser, their late dad. I was telling him all white. And those old guys would reminisce with some other old men. And they talk about these things. Let that work, that's the way we do it. In a way, what does that mean? Well, to that long ago, that was arrow makers. A castaway is putting feathers on at the end of your arrow. That broke away, they broke away from our people. Today, now they're known as Galapagos Reserve, Little Black Bear Reserve, Saddle Lake Reserve, Frog Lake, Tehelan. They're going to get that's the way we do it. They roam the north side of the South Saskatchewan River. From the elbow, the gathering place of the Cree at the elbow. All the Cree used to gather at the elbow. Because there was a sacred stone there, a big stone that looked like a buffalo. And our people knew about that old story and how that stone came about and how the Cree started to gather there. Ahtahkakoop used to be on the east side, the Hotel of that valley. That's the beginning of the Fort Capel Valley. Buffalo Hunt. That's where Ahtahkakoop and his people would camp and listen to us beside it. Okay, well, we are known as the Fort people, Ahtahkakoop, because our people would go down when they first started the trading horses. Montanak, they called it. Montanak is Churchill, Manitoba. Montreal could be coming in there from all over. O'Neill, the Fort people, they go Nehio, they go in Ahtahkakoop. They would take into Ahtahkakoop our people. There was an old man, just trying to remember his name now. What did he got? They wanted the action of taking Ahtahkakoop on everything. Shady, but he was an old man when Chief Child took the reserve by Delmas. Busherman and Delmas, Child, they moved back from Ahtahkakoop. Ahtahkakoop is Cypress Hills. They moved back and they got reserves because they were cheap stuff. Before they were not chiefs. Child, Little Pine, and Busherman were a part of Ahtahkakoop and Mishawasa reserves. But they became chiefs in treaty time. When Chief Ahtahkakoop and Mishawasa said they have to sign treaty. They took off because they were scared of treaty, and then they became chiefs because people followed them. Some people that were scared of the treaty. But I guess you can't blame anybody. Like Chief Mishawasa's own sons left. They ended up in the Rocky Mountain House. Son Child Reserve. They use the name Big Child today. They don't use the creed, the stories. They use Big Child. They were Mr. Ossus's own sons at Big Istabati at treaty time. And they ended up at Son Child Reserve. So what Mr. Ossus and Ahtahkakoop were the main chiefs of the Central Plains. The Southern Plains was Nehiyawat. The west, towards Cypress Hills. The eastern side was Chimaswas, but further east, Ahenakew. Those were the main chiefs. Everybody else fell under them, all other reserves. Oh, there were no reserves then. They were just roam wherever they want. But there was under some, not to be legal. That's that's old people. That's Beaver Hills by Edmonton. If they get to update, you get to Rushgate. Gashegimat was one chief. They were head chief. They were Gastalisto. That's the up. That was the other. Of course, you got Ahtahkakoop, and I already mentioned the one that got killed, Black Raven. Those were the head chiefs. But they'd all gather at the elbow. And then this one group broke away from our bunch. And those became known as Tuscaloosa Wheels. Not to be Lino, Lino, Sweet Grass and Black Raven. The Fort people, yeah, I know, because their people went to trade. Tuscaloosa Wheels didn't want any steel knives or pots or guns or modern stuff. And those are the ones that broke away from us. That's Galapagos, Little Black Bear. And then there was the Far East over Ahenakew. The Chapawis Reserve, if you're familiar with the Chapawis Reserve, that was a Chapawis spot, Thunderbird Loud Voice. And then there was Chimaswas, the Moose Jaw, the Fort Capella area, the Moose Jaw north. Just to give you an idea of how many people there used to be, Chimaswas never had less than 300 people following. If you average out 10 people to a team, just on the average, that's 3,000 people, always following that team. Chief Mishawasis was about the same thing. Chief Ahtahkakoop was about the same thing. They had to provide for their people. Buffalo pounds, you can see that. Gosh, now, buffalo have milk. Southwest the bigger. Lots of buffalo. East of there, about 20 miles, the Ahtahkakoop. Choke cherries galore. Every kind of, all kind of just thick choke cherries. Next to a big bush area. It's a lot of idea. Most what does that mean? Baby God. Which they each one got baby God. To feed each other, to help each other live. Delicate. Baby God. When that Ishkish came back from over there, he sat with his brother and he said, "We baby Checo." But talk about it, but with his dad, all of they have to reach it out, I mean, in the middle. Warrior law. We reach it out where there's a policeman. For a big village, they had four, reach it out. That was their law. The chief, Okinawa, sat in the back, and the elder decided, the younger one, where the door, except for one old man that sat with a backpack, little backpack. The oldest, each warrior of the village, he sat by the doorway. He was the only one to get by the door. Otherwise, all the younger ones coming all the way to the back. The chief, of course, they smoked the pipe. The chief listened to all the young ones coming this way. With the headmen, with the elders. When they finished talking, then the elders spoke, and then the chief. But they made a decision. Ahtahkakoop, he went to know, Saga, you got to be content. You know, Shehok, we'll move north, where there's a lake. We'll find a lake where there's fish. Our young ones, Tushkayan, no. Pico, about the way. You know, Shehok, Utapanikoch, Utedigan. Pasmos, Saget, Namatakoch. On purpose. White people were killing buffalo on purpose so that we wouldn't have strength. Any most of that. Our ancestors, any most of what? We don't need most of what to go up, yeah. So that's when Ahtahkakoop moved this way. Chief Mr. and Red Pheasant wanted Ahtahkakoop in Fort Battle. I say what they took from bigger area, southwest of bigger. Chief Mr. and Red Pheasant were camped there with all their people. Chief Mr. talked to Ahtahkakoop and said, "Ipagsayin ko ma, constructing Ota, Istungan, 3 reserves to be side by side. Along the Saskatchewan River, the Battle River, into the Eagle Hills, Big Schwartzia. That's what we want from you, to commit that you have land here with us. We'll have 3 reserves, we'll have a big land base." Ahtahkakoop said, "I can't." Nabuhay kasi. Say ni Tini mag, we have one of them. You went to know kung may wish ka siya. Saga ka na nito sa kama. Ita kinusyaw kaya. Igan mo tiya mo dito siya na kinusyaw kung puta pa na yun. That was his word to his people. He kept his word to his people and he moved his people out of there and he came this way. Mistikwat na, big hills here past Shell Lake. They come around there somehow. They've never been further north than Red Berry Lake, south of Hafford, where they used to winter once in a while. There's big cliffs there. Once in a while they moved there in the winter. They put Sinani. They put Sinani because from hell or Alberta. They put Sinani. But anyway, they moved further north than they'd ever been. They ended up here west of Montego, Ahtahkakoop Fur Lake. They lived there for about 4 years. There's about 16 graves there, maybe 17. My grandfather knew where they were. Maybe Clifford, maybe my grandfather showed Clifford, I don't know. But he had wanted to show me at times, and I never did go. I never went. But my grandfather knew where the graves were. Those are our people. Stacy down there. Magagawa ko. Say wako to time or ten. That is went on a raid. One of the last raids. They used to run on foot from the Buffalo Hunt Hills. Over there, one of his nephews, Ahtahkakoop's sons, didn't come back to where they were supposed to be after taking horses from the blood. So he said, I'll stay, and some other men said they'd stay with him. They sent the rest home with all the horses they bore from the blood. He's waited there, and in the morning, the blood strapped the horses and the men. And they found Ahtahkakoop and the other men, 3 other men. And they started shooting at him with their arrows. Shooting with their arrows. I'll trust you something. They kept peppering that place where they were hiding, a circle, main scot. They dug up all around to make protection, main scot. When there was no reply from that area where these Ahtahkakoop was with these men, they went in there and they raided the dead. Everyone was dead with arrows sticking out of them. And in one of them, they found a paper that said, "This is not, I'm not Mr. Ahtahkakoop. I'm the president of the Hudson Bay Company. I'm giving this man permission to get any kind of goods from my company. Ahtahkakoop is his name." That's the letter they found in one of the men. Meanwhile, the Ahtahkakoop's son had went around and he went on his own and he met the other guys down the road back to Buffalo Hunt Hill somewhere. He hadn't been killed. But anyway, the Father McDougal or somebody over there in Blood Country, already, sent a letter to Fort Carleton and said, Ahtahkakoop, a warrior of the Cree, has been killed. That's who those bloods stuck that letter to. They couldn't read it. With that, Chief Ahtahkakoop and the people here mourned for him. This is what that wasn't put in that history book. Because on the way going on that raid, Ahtahkakoop had killed an RCMP north of Minataga, Cypress Hills. That RCMP tried to send them home. No more horse raiding. No more of that. Go home. So Ahtahkakoop had ended up killing that RCMP. Or one of his men ended up killing that RCMP. So Ahtahkakoop that is really bothering him now. In the 1930s, 1935, maybe the 2 clips here will remember. Maybe even Jeff White here will remember. 1935, Model T time, 1940. 2 Model Ts showed up from Turtle Mountain, North Dakota. And they came to look for their star blanket relatives, the Ahtahkakoop's relatives. And they stayed here for 2 weeks. 2 Model Ts full of people. And that old man, the man was called King Summer. King, his last name's Summer. He told the Star Blankets that Summer name was adopted by his father. His father was Ahtahkakoop. Not if he had survived that floods attacking him. He had put that letter that he got from the Hudson Bay Company into one of the men. And that's the one that had been killed. He got away. And he went straight to south east to the Piganoshi. He made it to the Missouri River, Piganoshi. And he floated downriver all the way to Turtle Mountain area. And he headed north, and he ended up in Turtle Mountain. And there he found a bunch of Ojibwe Crees. And he lived with those Ojibwe Crees, and he found a wife there. He never ever came back this way. But his son did, King Summer, with his children, King Summer's children. We have relatives today in the States, Turtle Mountain and all over the States, called Summer. That's Ahtahkakoop's youngest brother. How things work out. They walk with them. Walk, yell them. They walk. About 5 months ago, I was invited to Isle Cross. Relatives. They're close relatives to Ronnie over here. Burton. They had me stay there for about 4 days. Cabin by the lake. Treated me good. Walking on it. When I was going to leave, the man about my age said, you know, when my father was dead, he told me, we have a spoken about Pharaoh. He said, I want you to do that. Don't let woman do it. That's your direct relative. Pharaoh. So he said, I didn't want to. I didn't know anything about a Pharaoh. My dad said that out. But that man, his dad was originally from here. What was the Ahenakew called that moved north? He was the hauling stuff to the north. That was the grandfather, his son. They had a barrel. So he said, I ended up, he said, I let go and do the barrel. Today, he said, I've had about 6 barrel lodges that I've done. I've done it for my dad, but wanted me to do it for me and my kids. He said, I kept it up. I've done it. That's an island cross. That's what we'll do. That's her relative. And how I said it's her relative, he said, the first Ahenakew was called pro-blanket. Ahtahkakoop. Like Ahtahkakoop. Ahtahkakoop. They went on a raid from the Buffalo Hump Hills. They got a bunch of horses, but Ahtahkakoop was wounded in the knee. Alsace, Saskatchewan, just south of there, about 10 miles, there's 3 big hills, right on the border. That's the hill that they come riding over with all the horses that they board with the flag. He jumped off his horse, the rest of his feet, like speed. All the horses were down the other side, Saskatchewan side already. They were going to Saskatchewan, Alberta side. The ones at the back of the horses, sending the horses full of horses, turned around, they see them standing on the hill, and they said, Ahenakew. And they rode back and they said, Station oh, blood. They threw him on a horse and they rode back down. And when they got back to the Buffalo Hump Hills, they had a victory dance. The women organized the victory. But they got back with a lot of horses, and everybody was safe. It was only pro-blanket voted. But during the victory dance, they stopped and the warriors would talk about their exploit. And then some of the warriors got up and they said, on the way back, stopped the rest of the clique, pro-blanket. And we looked up on the hill and there he was, standing by his horse. And we said, Ahtahkakoop. And from that time on, that name stopped. Ahenakew. He stopped. That's a lifting man stopped. I get one. Lifting man stopped. So all the trees all over the place, that hill was called Ahenakew. Ahenakew. My young days, I met old people that would say, Ahenakew. Yeah, they remembered that hill. Because of that, of course, you can was once take those hills all the way to New Jersey. Our own people named these places. Watoto is related to human lives, but we're also related to you. That hill was called that specifically for white. It was once I think those hills or something. But anyway, as they come this way now, I think that you take reason to the pro-life. And then, of course, his son, Louis Ahenakew, Clifford's grandfather, married a Burmese woman, Catherine Burmese, from the chief Burmese in Lima. Washington. Her sister, Ronnie's great-great-grandmother, Elizabeth Burmese. And the other one, a sister married Gray Eyes, the Gray Eyes. Now that's what their name is. The other Hermione sister. And the one Hermione sister was married in Britain. They gave their daughters. They gave their daughters who they loved. He makes really. So Louis ended up my great-great-grandfather, Clifford's grandfather, his wife, Catherine Hermione, Elizabeth Hermione. But going for the great, I don't know. Anyway, that's what. Today, when I go up that way, I get invited up that Oliva country or Enoch. And those people who never value that really. Yeah, but they stay talking. They want too much for it. Yeah, so they really value it. That is something beautiful, you know, when people appreciate that they're related to their marriage. A lot of people are married. I'll give you another one. Almighty voice. His wife was called Ahenakew. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Ahenakew. Ahenakew was your dad's and my grandfather's, and that was Almighty Voice's wife. Whatever. Must have been given away to him. He makes clearly. But Dad killed her. And then when Almighty Voice killed that cow, he was put in jail and he escaped. And then they began to chase him around the turf. Ahtahkakoop is the big wooded rolling hills, that Cypress Hill. Started small wooded rolling north of Buffalo. Almighty Voice. But when he got killed, that old lady of ours, moved the red fence with all her kids. But before he got into trouble, Willie Boy changed that. They called him John Baptist. So that completely mind me kept that peace state. Every one of those Baptists are Indian relatives. From her. I did that. And I remember when I was young, my grandfather used to go check my hair. I still do God. That old lady lived to about 114 years old. I always remember that thing. It was back east. There's an immediate relative there. They only had these Ahtahkakoop, of course, my sister, the Red Pheasant, was married here as well. Actually, woman. These Ahtahkakoop. Yeah, I know one of the old people. Because they used to walk back and forth from Red Pheasant Reserve to here, and then walk back before those vehicles were even, which they had a hard time to have horse. The Benjamins. Either Norman Benjamin's mother or grandmother was ocean captain. Ocean Reserve. Ocean captain. The ocean captain. Norman, your dad, big dad, mother or grandmother was the ocean captain. Basically funny. So we're related to Muslims to the Benjamins. I don't know if it was what time was a councilman to Washington. He was a councilman to Africa. Okay, that might have been his and Norman. Old man Norman, your dad. That might have been the one. It was either one. I forget that part. But they know people used to talk about all this stuff. Lots of religion. And then you get to the ones that are called versus sacraments. You get to them. Originally, Ahtahkakoop is a relative, close brother to Ahtahkakoop. The original Ahtahkakoop. He was the last one to have a few wives under his roof, like the old days before. But the church convinced him to find let his wives go, and that's Shishi system. And Asparov in Beardy. He let his wives go. He kept one. We're related to Beardy people. Of course, more modern day, we've got Rosalie and Henry here. But, well, getting back to the measles here, when Fort Carlton treaties were being made, I'm not trying to upset anybody either by giving this history. It was never meant to upset anybody, but meant to honor, like Chief Ahtahkakoop honored that old man. There was a man that came from the south when Fort Carlton treaties were being made. His name was Ashkut. Ashkut. No hair. He was the brother to a chief over there by Fort Capel. That his chief was called Ahtahkakoop, the one who has stars for his flag. Ashkut came north when he heard they were going to make a treaty. Treaty 4 had already been made. He came north to try and help to make a better treaty for Treaty 6. He got over here to Fort Carlton. He met with the Chief Ahtahkakoop, but Chief was lost, Red Pheasant. And he discussed with them and told them that he'd come there to help them make a better treaty than what they had before. His brother was a chief. Chief Ahtahkakoop heard that his name, the brother, was Ahtahkakoop, that he said, I'm going to adopt you as a little brother. I'm going to adopt you as a little brother. But first of all, we're going to change your name. We're going to name you Ahtah. So they called him Ahtah. From there on, Ashkosh, he lost that name. Ahtah was his name on the shoe. Because by Fort Capel, it's not that part of the shoe. But that's how they related to it, Ahtah. So he really liked that. And the medicine chest was, he helped put that into the treaties. That goes for same thing for Darlene over here. Great grandfather. Ahtah. He didn't let him go back. He never run back to Fort Capel. He stayed as a member of the Ahtahkakoop dead, adopted by people that he had a wife here. And when he had a little boy called George, 2 years old, and he had a little daughter, Sarah, a year old, he ended up north of Prince Albert, Hazeldale area. The Indians used to gather there, and they used to have a Ahtahkakoop go across on a boat. They did not go fish the Bible tradition. That Ahtahkakoop went across with the boat and then brought back liquor to Hazeldale area, and that's where they drink. They go on. Ahtahkakoop got sky to this water, took a log, and he plugged him right in the face. Yeah, then it keeps started to hot. It's a hard taste of it. He completed the fire. It's a hard, it's a hard. If there's a bottle, took off and came back here. Gathered up some belongings, and he took off to Ahtahkakoop. He ended up at Ahtahkakoop. Ahtahkakoop is Alexander, north of Edmonton, where he ended up. Over there, they called him Mishtigunaville. Mishtigunaville. So he was losing. He didn't know anything about this guy, Ahtahkakoop, and he thought people thought he killed in the Israel down there. He didn't know that the guy lived at Ahtahkakoop. Like he passed it on Ahtahkakoop. He tapas, they go to Alexander. Over there, he met a woman called Birchstick. They would say, we got something now, something. Birchstick. So, ano man, nagpama ng sita, pama, I know it, but Don Birchstick, iwa ko may close relative. Don Birchstick. From that old man, bought that. Oshkosh was his original name when he was in the South. But when he got here, yeah. We're related to a star language preserved by Fort Capel. And it's nothing meaning about it. Oh, the John Johnson and Paul used to get the big fights. He got them because Paul knew that history. And George didn't want to hear. And he knows what that's about. John Johnson. They got Paul, but he didn't want to hear that. But Paul wasn't you know, just getting him by now, Paul. I got John Johnson being with that. What did you get? Don't hurt everything. But anyway, other than that, we ended up with some good people. Sarah, old lady, beautiful old lady, they're going to be John George. Beautiful old man. One time, some Birchstick then came and visited George. We're on the visit your sister, they visited Birchage. Yeah, well, so that's what Kuku a little bit. I just had to talk about him too. White pistol. They didn't got their grandmother a lot. That's so good the old lady was gone in and got her sister. So there's stuff like that. You gotta remind their people of. When I do that, I got some out, but it's like 100% earlier. You did, you want to look at the whole works. I was getting to way back what the old people talked about from the first man that God made and the woman. They would tell me that they were sitting out on the battlefield. What the total man is there, we're already in. People, what's up when you put that look at I talk more and more about land places. I get interviewed universities, interviewed big states. They want to map everything up to Indian like I get involved, grand business speaker in Montana. Don't you talk about God, don't need to go there. What's that go? I got up on stage, I said, thank God for everything. But that's what's black. I think I was going to are you people are not hearing about that? Montana, the parents should sue me. Let them sue me. Siya man to much mamicho. He's been gaya ko ano sa mo tagaya na no graduation. He's been kaya siya man to gusto na mo tagaya na. Imang yung way. We're here because of that. Siya man. Siya man to. All our Kinahiyo no. But actually one of the three language teachers of Bangladesh, mom. No way. That's what made no Asians. No Asians. Old Creek, shady Panago, switch, but no, talking guy with that people. Well, no Asians is an ego flush. Ego flush. Along the skin of the ego, fine ego flush. No Asians. They get not talking that people. Nothing wrong with learning that. I'm proud to learn that. I'm proud to know all these places these old people talked about. I'm proud to know that they made a treaty with the Blackfeet when the Blackfeet were here. Because this used to be Blackfoot country. Before they were even called Blackfoots, when they came from the east, they had a decree. This is where they ended up. Prince Albert, the curve of the river, North Battleford, Guardian Lake. The land they inhabited. Paul used to dig up in his fields, unmeasured cliff fuel, maybe even this cliff fuel, arrowheads, stone clubs that were Blackfoot in origin. They were Blackfoot stone clubs, arrowheads. That old people said this was their country. Hill on the side of muskeg trees used to come and bother these people from across PA way, St. Louis way, towards Saskatoon. Sapuchi God is what's not it's called. Sapuchi God is the last of the Eagle God. There's four of them. Sapuchi God, just north of Plain Lake. That got its name from one of those times long ago when the black Dayachino, grandest country, where we are. I'm proud to know about the history that treaty that they made when they tried to move south away from here, the Boer Buffalo land. They ran up against another tribe called Shoshone, and they had to employ the Cree. The Crees had to come and help them in order to get onto the prairies, and the Crees did that. So all these place names, right into Montana, we have place names like Nipiga, Great Falls, Montana. The nearest Shoshone now you'll find, but the Cree helping these Ayachino, the Blackfoot Confederacy, Blackfoot Island, right next to Utah. They were in here's the Tigitabo Beach, but into the mountains there past Great Falls, Montana. That's how the one tribe got their name, Pigan. They were asked to stay there and watch that those people didn't come out of the mountains. So they got that name, Igano Ino. Iganoski Peak is the Muddy River. The Muddy River people. Pigan tribe, that's how they got their name. Yeah. It's not a but I could talk and talk and talk. And they go out of plate, they got some go. Like next week, I Liga Ito Link. They for Creek, Ichikashwafodi, Shadow Lake, the following week. Muskegos, Edon, the following week. So I've kept pretty busy with this kind of stuff. Yeah, no, I don't tell you.
Thank you very much. That's just a snippet, the history of your people. It's very honoring to have Barry to come and tell that story. Kahit, ikas isisong to kay suminan at